Sportsbook and Bar inside Treasure Island.
Going to get to a little UNLV football and basketball news here inside of 4 minutes. Cofield on the road, San Diego. UNLV's playing San Diego State men's basketball tomorrow. Adam Hill is down at Treasure Island, Golden Circle Sportsbook and Bar. Adam, just to add to and finish for now on the notion that Tom Brady's going to finish out his TV work while working as whatever position he's in. By the way, do they have an official position or is he just owner?
Minority shareholder, I believe.
Okay, that's a good one. Will he ever be given the title of, president or VP of player personnel or anything like that?
Not while he's broadcasting.
Okay. So last point on his agent saying, hey, he's going to finish out the TV deal. Don't you think this is Brady, mostly Brady, going, you know what, there are no rules, so I'm going to push the limits? Because I want to.
What's the benefit?
I just think it's a little bit of revenge. He went round and round with Raj throughout his career, so why not bust his chops a little bit and give him a little bit of angst?
Oh, you're saying he's not actually going to do it?
He's not going to work all 10 years. No, they're going to have to make a rule. They're going to have to come down with something, and he's doing a little ball busting towards Roger Goodell.
Well, I mean, I think you're almost maybe, but I mean, to your point, if he actually wanted to stay around, he probably could by just staying under the radar and not doing that and collecting, whatever it is, $35 million a year in addition to working with the Raiders as a minority owner and, running day-to-day operations, essentially. I mean,
are you alleging
could do both?
That Don Yee went rogue and Brady called him up like, bruh, it's working. Don't talk about it.
I don't know. Well, no, I think that he was just answering a question. He was asked. He didn't come out and make a statement. I was saying I don't think there was any plot to this. It was, he's asked the question. He said, yeah, he's going to fulfill the contract.
If you're a Raiders fan, do you want him to do that?
No.
Or do you want him around day to day? Because hiring the coach is one thing, but they do need leadership in some form. And he'd be a good guy to step up and be on not the payroll. He's an owner.
I just have to look
but to be working regularly. Yeah.
No, you want that, but I think he's waiting until the kids are out of high school.
Right.
I think that's when he'll make the transition full time. So, I mean, it would be for, a couple more years, trying to look at how old his kids are. But, yeah, I think he's going to try to push this as long as he can until – and the oldest son from the first marriage is 17. So, I think the other kids are fairly young. So, I think he wants to push it out as long as he can, as long as they're still in school, and he's not going to move to Vegas full time and do that job. He's going to, continue traveling around, living in Florida, broadcasting, helping raise the kids, and then come here when they're done.
So on the college football front, I don't know how much you were watching back to last Wednesday or so, but did you at least see in passing all the commits from the portal that UNLV football got?
It's tough to miss them on social media.
Yeah.
Like
do you like that approach?
Every couple of minutes. Yeah, it's fine. You're supposed to
love
your successes.
Yep. I don't know why it was such a big secret. I mean, recruiting in general was a giant secret with Bobby Houck. Then Sanchez started to change things. With Odom, I don't know why they didn't publicize the transfers more. It was almost like they were ashamed of turning over the roster. Maybe it wasn't as acceptable as it is now. Now in like year 4 of explosive transfer portal stuff. Now it's just like, hey, you know what? Sorry, roster gets turned over, kids leave, we get more kids back.
Yeah, especially when you're a new staff. I mean, there's no, if you want to say shame or, whatever word you want to use about, how much turnover there is, there's none of that because you're a new staff. You're expected to come in and bring in your own guys and go find them. And, why not? And look, it also, not to, this is not a critique, but it's, the reality is like you are landing, you could say, hey, like we just got this guy from Florida. We just got this guy from Alabama. We got this guy from Georgia. You're like, oh, he never played? Okay, well, that's fine. But you can at least celebrate it on social media with you put the logo of Georgia and then you put the logo of UNLV. Like, look who we got. I mean, it's ready-made for social media.
I think most readers, and especially local fans, realize that there's a reason that guy is leaving Florida or A&M or Alabama. Do you think a lot of them are like, we're getting that level player? Like
I don't. And if
he might be that level player, but he didn't get a chance there, so now he's having to come down to UNLV to try to get playing time. Like Jackson Woodard, that would be the ultimate. If every guy turned out to be him, then that's great.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think, but if you're announcing this with social media graphics instead of stories from somebody else who would say, right, the lead of the story is UNLV landed a transfer from Georgia who was also at Florida who has never played it down in college football, or UNLV lands a transfer from Georgia. Like that's right. Preferred for sure.
Well, that's right. That's why I tried to retweet every one of them with at least an indication of how much they played, where they played, because there are different types of players who transfer from bigger schools. Some guys weren't given a chance. Other guys were, fourth and fifth options at their position and maybe need a better chance to play.
Yeah, and that's not even
and potentially
it's not even a knock on the kids.
They can contribute. Yeah,
it's not a knock on the kids. Like, look, as somebody who follows Michigan very closely, like if you were to, I saw it with people. Alex Orji, that guy stinks. He doesn't. He doesn't. He didn't have the opportunity. Wasn't in the right offense. We get it. The guy still has a ton of talent. So, like, just because the guy didn't work out or didn't play to the level of what you thought he should doesn't mean he's not good. And so, credit to them that they're finding kids that they believe in, and that they believe can play, can fit their system, and that they can work with. And for whatever reason, didn't work out. And some of these guys are high-level recruits.
They are. There's a lot of them. It just hasn't worked out. Others have actually bounced from 3 and 4 schools, and they've played. They just haven't broken through as a 600 or 700 play starter. The other thing I love that Mullen is doing, and this is also something that Odom did in his first year, if you notice, there are a smattering of offers out there to 5 stars in the 26 and 27 class, even 28. I think they're just trying to go out and make a contact and then just kind of use it as a pub. Like, hey, we're in the mix for 5 stars too. Let's go.
Yeah. I finally was able to find Brady's youngest daughter is 12.
Okay.
So just go back to that. But yeah, those guys, a lot of these guys are, really, really talented players and have, gone through the processes and for whatever reason at multiple schools, some of them, but you never know when it's going to click and when it's going to work out. And sometimes it just takes the right situation, the right system, and they shine. And that's what they're looking for here.
UNLV actually got a quarterback commit originally from, I think, Lincoln or Omaha, transferred down to South Florida, Broward County. They got a commit from him. What are you thinking when they're taking high school kids now? I wonder what every coach is going to do. Like, is there a point to taking more than like 12 high school kids in a class?
No, I think you want to find some. You want to find some guys that will fit and be a part of it. I mean, you need guys that are developmental. You need guys in the system. You want to have guys that you have a relationship with that even if maybe they are going to transfer or move out, some of them might stay around and be willing to be a guy that's a backup for 2 years or whatever until they're ready to go. And they feel more comfortable in your system and more comfortable with you than going somewhere else and taking their chances.
UNLV basketball is going to play San Diego State tomorrow, 5:00 tip. I want you to listen to Kruger after what was a very physical game, and at times I thought UNLV out-physicaled Utah State. That wasn't the case the previous 2 games, especially against Boise. And we know that in this league, you got to fight because it's going to be a freaking rough go-around most of the time. Here was Kruger talking about aggression and fouls.
Games where we've had really good levels of aggression there, and like we talked about, we need to foul more. We go into these Mountain West games and we end up with, we have 3 or 4 fouls at the half. That's just not the way the game's played. We need to be much more physical. And tonight we did. I don't mind us getting another team in the bonus as long as we're sliding our feet and playing physical, not giving up layups. We have no issue with that.
I don't think I've heard a coach say that many times, that bluntly. But you get what he's saying, right?
For sure. I mean, for a coach to say it, it has to be an egregious problem.
I mean, they do have games where the other team, not only will a Boise, and this is not a bad thing, not only will a Boise, pick up 22 fouls in a game, they probably fouled 45 times. It's a tone they're setting, and if you don't match that tone, you're not taking advantage of the physicality and the way they're working the refs. Be physical. And then there are more than a few times, probably like standing over my shoulder as UNLV just got to the hotel in San Diego. But there were times in the game I looked up and like Jalen Hill just had his two arms out after just pushing someone out of the way. I'm like, there you go. Okay, no foul called.
Yeah, and it also goes to, you're kind of getting at it, but part of it also is, the going back to what we've talked about with the Seattle Seahawks and their philosophy, which essentially was commit penalties on every single play. They're not going to call it every single time. Every once in a while they might, but you'll take your chances. If you hold every play and they call it 3 or 4 times a game, you get the benefit of holding without calls a bunch of times. If you're being not physical and not fouling and you're being so careful, at some point late in the game, you're going to go up and try to contest a shot, and the ref's going to be like, oh, yeah, that's a foul. Like, that's the most you've challenged anybody or been physical at all in the game, so we're going to call it. So if there's a point of being too careful about fouls that cost you.
Yeah, and that's absolutely a way that San Diego State defended Deon Thomas last year. They bumped him probably 20-plus times in the game, but what are they going to call, 6 of them? And eventually they did, but you play them hard, and they're like, well, I guess that's not a foul because they're doing it on every single play. Now, here's the other trick.
That's just how that guy defends.
Is reading the official. How do you read high step ref? This is the new star, which I'm going to get to why that is an outrageous, disturbing phrase on my part.
Oh, it is.
High step ref. He actually has his own Twitter handle. It's not him.
Yeah.
First of all, what do you think? Can you tell people who like what he does that he's been nicknamed high step ref?
Well, I mean, there's a reason that there's Twitter accounts dedicated to him. It's multiple now, multiple Twitter accounts.
Is that right?
You'll see him late in the game high stepping as well on the floor, but it's not just. If he was just a guy that was like, I'm in good shape, I'm going to high step throughout the game, whatever. It's not that. It's look at me, because and again last night he was on one of the best games of the season that I've watched, Oregon State and Gonzaga, which was awesome, and he was on the game, and he's high stepping in overtime, and then he's making these dramatic offensive foul calls and, the over-the-top signaling. And he's on the baseline and he jumps out and does 4 hops before doing an over-dramatic, point that way. Like, that's who he is.
Yes.
And as soon as you see him on the floor, you're like, oh, no.
Yep. And his name is Jeffrey Anderson. And here's the thing. He claims the high step is done because his doctor said, hey, you got a bad back. You can loosen it up. You know when you can do the high steps? All day long. At the
or
hotel.
during timeouts.
Or to stand there. Yeah, exactly. Well, last night he became kind of immobile. He got caught in a corner and was actually effectively a third man in a trap in the corner, helping the defense.
He wanted to be seen because he couldn't be seen, so he needed to get back on camera. It's gotten to the point, and this should never happen. We should never know referees' names. We've talked about that before. But he was actually one of the signs behind the basket. I think for you,
I couldn't find the sign. That's what I thought it was. I saw the picture and I'm like, I don't see it, but I guarantee there's a sign behind the basket. Yeah,
he's one of the signs, like the distracting free throw guy signs that everybody's holding. Yeah. He's one of them.
Well, can I tell you something? Because I really do pay attention to this stuff, and I know you do too. It's only a small handful who like to play to the crowd, which when you even say that, you're like, wait, an official in a college basketball game is talking to the crowd? So that's what this guy does as well. In the game, I said this to Griffin yesterday because Griffin was a pretty high-level athlete and dealt with officials. In the game the other night, Bear Cherry got the ball in the post. He banged into Carson Templin for Utah State. And the 4th time he did it, they called a foul. Templin walks out politely, and he puts his hands up, and he's walking towards high knee ref. And he goes, what am I supposed to do? Like, how do I defend that play? And high knee ref goes, why are you asking me? I'm like, you're an official. Players are allowed to ask how they can avoid getting fouls. But here's the thing. Not only did he say that, like, why are you asking me? Then he looked around to see if anyone heard him. Yeah. And starts laughing.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? Yeah. You are supposed to not really be even noticeable. Just call the game.
If I was in charge, you wouldn't be calling any more games. Guaranteed. Is he patting any players on the head?
Well, we know there's other guys out there like this, but this one's getting a lot of attention and all for the wrong reasons, and this should not be happening. 4:00 hours on the way. Stick around on our live video.
NFL playoff doubleheaders, Saturday at 1 on Raider Nation Radio and Sunday at noon on ESPN Radio Las Vegas. PT's Taverns is the place to catch all of the VGK action. With over 60 locations, there's one near you. Go to ptstaverns.com today.
Gambler's bonus hits again. On December 14th, Eric hit 4 8s, clearing his Gambler's bonus 4-of-a-kind bingo card for over $7,500. Eric hit big and so can you. With Gambler's bonus, it's why you play the game.
Lowe's knows how to help make your Super Bowl 59 party a touchdown. Let us help you prep your home to host with top brands like Charbroil, Blackstone, and LG, so you can be the MVP of game day. Plus, use the Lowe's app to find what you need for a seamless shopping run. Or huddle up with our Lowe's Red Vest associates to help make all your game time hosting decisions.
Every now and again, life throws a flag on the play, and you will need the services of an outstanding criminal attorney like our winning team at the Vegas Lawyers. I'm Tony Abbotangelo. Whether it's representation for DUI, domestic violence, record sealing, or any other criminal defense issue, we understand the playbook of legal complexities. Don't fumble your future.
The Vegas Lawyers, a division of Paul Pata Law, where compassion and strong legal representation come together. Check us out at thevegaslawyers.com.
The biggest games and the best matchups are heard here on ESPN Las Vegas, 1100 AM and 100.9 FM, KWWN, Las Vegas. Hanging at the Golden Circle Sportsbook and Bar inside Treasure Island, it's Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas and ESPN Reno.
4 o'clock hour. This hour brought to you by Battleborn Injury Lawyers, 766-1400. Call from anywhere in the state of Nevada. Phone number, Adam Hill, TI, Cofield, San Diego, Griffin, Finley, Toyota Studios. Much to get to. We'll make some picks for the weekend in about 45 minutes, give you a couple of nuggets, especially on Ohio State, Notre Dame. We'll have a Notre Dame backer in. He better not say we. We'll tell McKinnell. He might say it, though. He might say it. He's a fan. He's a tried and true fan. What can you do? You can watch us right now up on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. So search, find, watch. Big 4 time.
Battleborn Injury Lawyers presents the Big 4 and 4. Number 4.
Adam Hill, should Cam Newton be given a credential for Radio Row in New Orleans?
Yeah, because I want to see the drama. I'm bringing the popcorn.
Okay. Well, we'll explain why there might be an issue. So going back to last week, Cam Newton did a response video to what he saw on Whitlock's show. Jason Whitlock was talking about peanut butter skin and huge racks in that Joy Taylor kerfuffle, and he and Marcellus Wiley actually told some really good workplace stories about the workplace at Fox over the years. So the comments about Joy got Cam Newton really upset. So he basically suggested, like, keep her name out of your mouth because you don't get to be with Tookus of that quality, right? That's what he was saying last week. So then Steve Kim on our show and also on Whitlock's show was talking about Cam Newton. So Cam plays back. Steve is a regular of ours on Monday. Cam plays back what Steve Kim was saying about him, calling him a name and responding with, I think, a threat to fight him.
Here's my message to Cam. My guy. No. You're not my guy. Come on. The thing that is interesting about what he said about you, Cam really showed what a simpleton he is. You never really.
Pause right there. I'm going to tell you like this. I'm going to put both of y'all, Jason Whitlock and Steve Kim, in the U2 movement. I'll put it like this, bro. If I see you, all I ask is keep that same energy. Mr. Kim, Stimp, cool. Keep that same energy when I see you.
Okay, what does that mean?
I think Steve Kim called him a simp and said basically he's doing this just so he can try to maintain his sexual relationship with Joy Taylor.
Okay, but what does the keep the same energy?
Oh, I think you know what it means. It means, hey, come when you see me, say it. Say it. Don't come up to me and be like, oh, Cam, hey, cool, good to see you, man. Say it.
Do you think Steve would say it?
No.
I do think Steve would say it. Steve often gets threatened by fighters, so I don't think he'd be bothered by it. But when I say a credential, there is a process to go through and a behavior that is expected at media events. So at the Super Bowl I don't think Steve Kim will be there, but Jason Whitlock might be there somewhere. So
is there because they be careful about this.
You want to complain about who they let in?
Well, yes, that too. But they essentially at Radio Row last year made it so there'd be a giant brawl, and there was.
They did. I don't remember that.
Yeah, between two boxers.
Oh, as a promotion. That's interesting.
And there was a giant brawl.
You think the NFL really knew that could happen?
They let them back in. They were fighting. They were trying to throw punches. They escorted them out and then let them back in to fight.
All right.
I was there that day, and I think that's the first time I actually met Adam Hill. I'm sure he doesn't.
Yeah. So I mean, yes, and there is, like, as you know, it's different times of the day. Like, would that have happened at noon? Probably not. But at like 7:00 at night, yeah,
right.
Yeah, it happens on Friday when everybody's gone.
Was that Haney and Garcia?
Yeah.
My Lord, that's a lifetime ago, and it's less than a year ago.
I know.
All that's happened with those guys, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, on the whole thing with Cam, because I don't think we need to get into who's going to fight who, and to me I actually think you've lost the battle when you're threatening to fight people, or you say you're not going to name call and then you name call. I don't like the name calling, and then you start name calling. You've kind of stooped to a level that guys like Whitlock and Steve want you to stoop to. So
wait, what did he call them?
I think your simp thing. I think he was calling Steve Kim a simp.
No, I thought he was saying Steve Kim called him that.
I didn't hear that part.
Well, I think it was in a different part of the clip. Obviously that's a very short part of.
He did. I mean, this isn't name calling. He did say at the end when he was getting really flustered, Cam Newton. He like muttered, huge rack, and he's like to Whitlock. He's like, you've got a huge rack.
But they did call him a simpleton.
Right, which by the way is different than a simp.
Sure.
Is it not?
Yeah, for sure.
They did name call, but then I'm telling you on the longer clip, he said, I'm not into name calling. I'm not going to name call. I'm like, you do, Cam. You do name call.
Of course.
It's the whole thing is childish. And really the reason they got into him was Cam Newton is now becoming, and maybe he's just grown up. It's also, very helpful to be in the media and in his case, like defend women. But I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know how to say who's the now Rams reporter. It's Jordan. How do you say her last name?
Rodrigue.
R-O-D. Yeah. So Jordan Rodrigue, they pointed out that Cam, while he was playing, laughed at Jordan Rodrigue for asking a football question. Like, stop for a second. He's like, I think it's really funny that, women are asking hardcore football questions. But now you have all the respect in the world for Joy Taylor. You're going to protect her.
Yeah.
But you know what? As I pointed out, Michael Strahan has somehow made this transition, because I remember Michael Strahan trying to talk down Kelly Naki after he didn't like a question. And he's like, a man does this on a team. A man does that. And I'm like, what are you doing, dude? So he certainly made the complete turnabout, because he works with women all the time, and now he's a morning show guy. We can all change.
You can evolve.
We can all change. Well, I guess we're safe on this show in saying that we'd like to bring Jim Gray on during Radio Row and throw him off the show, and also find a way as a group to just go offensive line, I guess, on the outkick set if we can. Wouldn't that be another good example after the one guy went after Q?
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah,
I mean,
let's all go down to New Orleans and plan on fighting big and small.
Well, according to Outkick, they wouldn't know who Q was if he approached. So why would it matter?
That's a good point. So if he doesn't, we'll have no idea.
Like, some guy attacked us.
It's so stupid. What a dumb bit that is. But they have a whole audience that loves it. Number 3. Adam, gut feeling with Shedeur Sanders. Will he be allowed to be drafted by anyone the Titans may have a leg up in terms of scouting. Is Deion going to allow his kid eventually to play for Tennessee if they can get him?
Well, that was more with Pac-Man Jones today, and I'm just going to use Pac-Man Jones as the knower of all, especially when it comes to Deion Sanders, because they are friends. It's not like he's a reporter asking him questions; his friend asking him questions. He said the most important thing in the world to Shador and Deion is to be the number one pick. They don't really care who it's to if Deion's not coaching. He just wants to be number one. And he kind of insinuated that the Raiders could be trading up to get that pick, and that is what would have happened if Deion would have taken the job. But of course, it didn't really get that far with the Raiders. So now he said the most important thing is number one. Now, Pac-Man was implying that the Titans will be trading the first pick because they don't need a quarterback. I don't know how accurate that is. I think the Titans do need a quarterback, and they probably will be looking at quarterbacks in the upcoming draft, and they will have the opportunity to look at him first because the Titans offensive coaches will be coaching Shador in the East-West Shrine game coming up in just a couple of weeks.